Welcome to the Flow Tao Salon. Now, you probably think of instant noodles as, a simple, cheap snack. But what if I told you they're actually at the center of this huge, dramatic comeback story? Today, we're going to unpack the surprising reinvention of the humble instant noodle.
So, if you've been to the supermarket lately and noticed your instant noodles getting a major glow-up, you are not imagining things. We're seeing a shift from that simple packet on the left to the gourmet-looking bowl on the right. And believe me, there is a massive story of survival and innovation behind this change.
And how do we know all this? Well, this whole explainer is based on a really fascinating 2025 report on the Chinese instant noodle industry. It's from a few places, including Qince Consumer Research and II Media Research, and they really dug deep into what's driving this incredible market shift. Okay, so let's start with the crisis. Because just a few years ago, the instant noodle, this beloved staple, found itself in some seriously hot water. The numbers really tell a dramatic story here. After hitting this massive peak during the pandemic in 2020, we're talking a staggering 46.3 billion packs sold in China alone. Sales just suddenly took a nosedive.
And the scale of this drop is what's really wild. By 2023, sales had fallen by 4.1 billion packets. That is billions of meals that people just weren't choosing anymore. So, what on earth happened?
Well, it was basically a perfect storm. You had this long-standing reputation for being unhealthy, some really damaging food safety scandals, and even new rules restricting people from eating them on high-speed trains, which was, a classic noodle-eating situation. But the biggest threat of all, that was brand new competition.
And this brings us to the new rivals in the kitchen. Suddenly, the noodles' dominance was being challenged by these two really powerful forces, both fueled by the rise of what people call the lazy economy. First up, you've got food delivery platforms. With their endless variety and super aggressive discounts, they came right at the noodles' main selling point, price. At the exact same time, pre-cooked meals started offering restaurant-quality dishes that were just as convenient, chipping away at the noodles' other big advantage. So facing this huge threat, the industry had a choice. It could either fade away or fight back. And boy, did they fight back. They came up with this brilliant two-pronged strategy: go healthy and go premium.
Now, this wasn't some overnight change. You have to understand, the industry has been investing in these technologies for decades. We're talking everything from non-fried methods way back in the 90s to advanced freeze-drying that locks in freshness.
And this shift was absolutely fundamental. The industry basically redefined the entire product. They moved away from the simple fried noodle block on the left, which was just designed to fill you up, to this gourmet meal experience on the right, complete with sophisticated non-fried noodles, real soup bases, and even chunks of actual meat.
The result of all this? A whole new generation of instant noodles that look and taste completely different from what you remember. I mean, look at this. You now have products like Master Kong's Imperial Feast, which comes with these generous, real pieces of meat. It's basically fulfilling what the report calls the dream of childhood, actually getting the meat you see on the package.
And then there are brands like Unipresident's Soup Expert series, which focus entirely on creating these rich, complex broths that honestly taste like they came from a restaurant-style ramen shop.
And it's not just the food. Even the packaging has been totally upgraded. Some brands are doing these cool collaborations and limited editions, turning what was once a simple meal into this whole consumer experience.
So, the big question is, did this massive pivot actually work? Well, the data is in, and it's crystal clear.
Oh, absolutely. The high-end segment is now the industry's new growth engine. Between 2020 and 2026, it's projected to grow at a compound rate of 11.6%. That is nearly 5 times faster than the low-end market. It's not even close.
And the report basically concludes that, faced with all that intense competition, going premium wasn't just another option on the table. It was the only way forward. It was their key to survival.
Okay, so let's wrap this all up with the 3 most important findings from this whole story. First, it was a classic case of adapt or die. Fierce competition forced the industry to totally reinvent itself. Second, health is the new wealth. That pivot to healthier noodles was absolutely critical to win back consumers' trust. And finally, premium is the future. The high-end noodle isn't some tiny niche anymore. It is the main thing driving all the growth and profit in the market.
So it leaves us with this final thought to chew on. As the lines get blurrier and blurrier between a quick snack and a gourmet meal, what does the term convenience food even really mean anymore?
It feels like the definition is being rewritten right before our very eyes.